any other riders out there get home, wash their bikes, and they're still an absolute state afterwards. Yeah, me too. So basically what I'm going to do today is I've bought a new jet wash. It's a muck-off jet wash. I don't know if that makes any difference or not, but my neighbour, who's a contractor, who's like digs roads and makes roads and, you know, digs big holes and all that sort of stuff, brings his machinery back and he washes it with a really hot jet wash and it gets everything off. So I thought, I wonder what temperature you can run the jet wash at. I looked up the specs. Muck off, say 50 degrees. Brilliant. Right, unfortunately water comes out the cylinder, the hot water cylinder, 65 degrees. So that's too hot. So what I've got is this. Now this is a TMV, it's thermostatic mixing valve. And what you do is you feed cold into one side, hot into the other, and you get a variable, there's a little keyhole here that takes an Allen key, you can vary the temperature of the outlet. So what I'm going to do is, this is my current outside tap and that is just cold. So I'm going to install this. I'm going to send a hot outlet, so I'll have a cold tap, I'll have a hot tap at whatever the cylinder's at, so 65 degrees, and then I'll have a mixed tap which I'll probably set to 45. But we'll see. I don't want to bounce it off the limit of what the jet wash is capable of, because I'm sure it'll probably cause a bit more wear. Who knows? I'd rather not risk it. So yeah, we'll end up with 3 outside taps, and obviously I'll put a isolators and all that stuff here. So I'm just going to crack on with it. I'm not going to teach you how to do any plumbing. There's a million keen blokes on the internet keen to teach you how to do plumbing, so go and see them. But otherwise what I'm just going to show you is the finished article and the temperature it comes out, and we'll see if it works. Right, I've drilled my holes in the wall, and so this is this is called an 1/2 inch wall plate for like an outside tap. So you get a 1/2 inch entry female, a plate and a length of tube which will poke through to this side, and we can connect our water services too. Right, I'm not going to bore you with talking anymore. I'll probably put a time lapse on, get some pipes on the wall, and the next thing you'll see is hopefully this valve in place with hot, cold and mixed supplies. Well, thanks to all the plumbers out there watching this. You know, I'm well aware that the valve positioning isn't what we'd usually do, but there are shelves and cupboards going in here, and that's where it's got to go. So feel free to comment anyway. Right, well that's the valve installed. I'm going to go and reinstate the water supplies, the hot and cold, and then I'm going to go and set the temperature outside on the mix. Right, now I'm going to be setting the temperature. So what I've got is a multimeter with a thermocouple on it, and then I run the water into a cup or anything that will hold water. This is our mixed side. I think it's pretty clear that needs warming up a bit.
That's perfect. I think I'm going to stick with 40 for a first go. That's pretty warm, it feels warm to my hand. I don't want to wreck my jet wash. Right, let's give it a go.
So, did it work and was it worth it? My opinion is the warmer water did work. It did make a difference. It got the grime off and the grime stayed off. You know, when the bike dried, there was no residue, there was no dust, there were no dirt patches or nothing. So I think it was worth it. And I cleaned those bikes that hadn't been washed for 2 weeks, and normally, you know, that's really a difficult thing to do because that grime is then on there, it sort of sticks to the frame. But it didn't stand a chance. The hot water got it off, no problem. The other question is, was it worth it? Now, if I wasn't able to do the installation of that valve myself, I think it would be quite costly. If you've got a guy around to install the valve, you know, which is going to be anywhere between 20 and 40 pounds for a cheap one. Copper and fittings are at an all-time high. Copper is like £10 a length for 15mm. Plus fittings, I would expect to pay for a couple of outside taps, one cold, one mixed, a guy to do it, and all the parts. So is it worth it? In my opinion, no. But for me, yes, because I can do it myself. Right, hope you enjoyed. Take care.